From the Salisbury Center Studios in Manassas, Virginia, it's Wylde Style Radio.
What's up, guys? Brent and Hess here on the Wylde Style Network. Just dropping in to talk a little bit. We got a couple huge fights, combat fights this weekend, and one of them is possibly what they say is the largest boxing match ever between Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. We got our producer here, John Caniford, here joining me as well. John, what are we thinking about this matchup, man? I mean, it's very intriguing. I know there's a lot of people looking forward to it. Some people are not like excited because they're big Mike Tyson fans like myself, and they just don't want to see him get hurt. But a lot to unpack, man. I think there's a lot to kind of a lot of pros, cons, different data points that are just like, man, this fight. But I bottom line, I'm actually looking forward to it. After what transpired in the at the weigh-ins, and we'll get to that. What are you thinking about it, man?
So let's just call a spade a spade. I am a bandwagon boxing fan. I've caught on to the social media feeds of everything, and so I'm not someone that's going to give you all these stats, but I can give you notes from everything that I've read online. So I'm excited about it. I've grown up watching Jake and Logan as they progress on YouTube. I've enjoyed seeing this era of Jake Paul boxing. But I couldn't tell you anything else, whether it's if he's a great fighter or just a lucky fighter, but it's been exciting and it's been fun to kind of just be on social and see all the results from that. So I'm looking forward to this Tyson thing. I was bummed when he got canceled the first time from Tyson having gout. Is that what it was?
Yeah, some ulcer, bleeding, something in his stomach.
There it is. That's right, ulcer.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to see what this is. Hopefully, it's going to be a fun fight. Hopefully, the last couple Jake Paul fights I haven't been crazy about because I feel like nothing happened. There was just a lot of dancing, a lot of hugging, random guillotines in one fight, and yeah. So
but you're a Tyson fan, right?
Definitely.
Let's get that right on the table. Come on.
I'm 100% Tyson fan all the way. The nice thing with Jake is that you've been getting a lot of these behind the scenes videos, kind of like what the UFC does for their pre-fight stuff.
Yeah.
And there's just been a mass amount. And when we met earlier this week to film some stuff, I had said that, Tyson looked wobbly getting out of his car. And then it was, I think the other night I sent you that video of him training, had the DMX song in the background, and some old school deep cut DMX, and I'm like, oh, that animal's in the cage.
You said the animals got woken up.
The animal's in that cage pacing, just waiting for that gate to come open. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm
looking forward to it, man. I mean, there's a lot to unpack. Tyson, 58 years old. He was 18 when he started boxing. So that's 4 decades of boxing and getting hit. He was 50-6. With 44 KOs when he kind of retired from officially boxing. So what a record, He went a span of his first 37 wins. He had 33 KOs. All of us were sitting around, watching Tyson fights back in the day, like just like, dang, man, we got to catch the him walking out because he's ferocious, and then we not missing the first round because we never knew when it was going to end. And then now going against 27-year-old Jake Paul, who's kind of come out on the scene and made such a noise, 10-1 as a boxer, 7 KOs. I don't know, man. I mean, this is a crazy fight. I mean, it's going to be an 8-round fight. The gloves are going to be 14 ounces instead of 10. 10 normally professional boxers fight 10-ounce gloves.
And the heavier gloves, just lightens the amount of impact?
A little bit, the little gloves it's gonna be a harder, stiffer punch. But a punch is a punch, sure. Whether it's your a 8-ounce, 10-ounce, or 20-ounce glove. It's you don't want to take a Mike Tyson punch.
Exactly what I was going to
say. The minute rounds, they said they modified those to 2 minutes instead of 3. I think that'll help Mike as far as stamina goes and just longevity. I'm hoping he's going to be able to have. I know he's got gas in the tank, but I don't know how much. You know, and so I don't know, man. I mean, there's a lot of controversy too behind how they even sanction this fight. You know, I mean, in Texas, I think probably has some looser sanctioning laws than probably some states wouldn't have sanctioned this. And there was a boxer in 2018. I saw that he was 64 and they sanctioned his bout, a pro sanctioned bout in Texas. You know, Mike Tyson's 58, so maybe he can still box for another 6 years.
God, I hope not. I mean, yeah, that's it's just tough, man. It's hard to see your heroes sometimes when they get to that age and they're not the same person that they were, and you kind of that's your last memory of them. So it can diminish a little bit to some people.
Yeah.
So
yeah. And especially you see some young buck,
yes,
like Jake Paul coming up in here, like, hey man, you know, talking smack, and I'm gonna do this and do that, and you know, Paul is the minus 200 favorite going into this. This is going to be about here in Texas with 60,000 people expected, a $15 million gate, $80 million purses. So wait, hold on now. I put on boxing shows with Champions League here at the Salisbury Center.
How do those numbers work out?
Yeah, $15 million gate, $80 million purses for these guys to split. Maybe you can explain that to me, John, or somebody's got to explain that to me how that works.
The only thing I can reasonably think is that Netflix is throwing a huge amount of money to this or towards this.
Okay.
Because it is their first live boxing event.
That's right.
I think it was supposed to be their first live event back when this originally was supposed to go down in June. And then now they start doing like the live comedy shows and other live things. Yeah. So maybe it's that they've thrown a big bag at this to try to attract that audience, and they're willing to put more on the plate. And so maybe that's where that number comes in.
Hey man, they're $15.99 subscriptions that they do. I'm sure they're going to be getting a lot of those.
Sure,
just from people who want to see this fight, and then they're like, all right, we'll get some free movies along with it. Right? Like, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking up right now, seeing how many members that Netflix has, and trying to get an idea for that, because they're obviously not doing a pay-per-view model. I mean, their pay-per-view model is their monthly subscription, but they have a substantial amount of members.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still trying to figure out how this math works out.
Yeah, man. Geez, somebody's got to explain that to me. But, Mike Tyson, 58 years old. George Foreman was 45 when he won the heavyweight title against Michael Moore, a legit boxer. And Michael Moore was 26. Another thing, when they pass a certain age too, when they pass 36 years old, they're subject to different medical testing. Mm. So I'm sure Mike has gone through the medical testing, the different head exams and things like that are, I guess passing standard. So hopefully everything is checking out and his health is in order. And that way, win or lose, Mike Tyson comes out of this safe and sound, and we can still all see him and talk with him and, have him around the boxing community, because I think that's important.
And he'll just have some heavier pockets.
Exactly. Yeah. Everybody who comes out by fighting Jake Paul, they're like, that's what makes me feel a little bit of certain kind of way about some of these guys who go down, and, him beating Nate Diaz, Tyron Woodley just flattened him. I mean, but the way Woodley fell, do you think you could fall like that and fake that? Is that possible? I just feel like I would told people, I was like, there's no amount of money that could make me fall face first like that in front of all those people, and just my grandkids are gonna see this, and I don't know, but Tyron Woodley's happy as hell right now. He's freaking balling and doing good. So who knows?
You know who else is happy is Dude Wipes, since they had that prime sponsorship location on the back of the shorts. Right there, Dude Wipes.
Right there, man. Yeah, everybody got a little glimpse of that. That was worth it.
So I looked up Netflix subscribers. You take a guess where they're at subscriber wise.
Oh man, you gotta. I have no idea.
You know how many people voted in the election? So around. Think about that number combined.
That many?
More. So this is worldwide.
Oh, because it's worldwide.
Yeah. 282.7 million.
What?
At $15.99 a month. or whatever it is currently. That's how they get that
That's
80
how they
million.
get those
That's
purses.
how that math works out.
I think you just explained it, John. John the man.
Yeah, man.
Always coming with the facts here.
Did you catch the weigh-ins?
So the weigh-ins, that's another thing, man. Yeah, so I saw the weigh-ins, and then I was like, man, first of all, I was like, vintage Tyson is back. Vintage Iron Mike Tyson is back. I will bite your ear off if you mess with me. That's what I was like, man, that's what I want to see. I want to see Iron Mike coming into the ring, not anything less, coming into the ring versus Jake Paul. Win or lose, we'll see, based on age and his ability to react to punches and his stamina and what he's got in the gas tank. We'll see all of that unfold. But I want Iron Mike to come into the ring and show Jake Paul at least, what's up, and give him some good slugs, and who knows, maybe put Jake Paul away and give everybody an early Christmas present. But when I saw that weigh in and when I saw what he did and how he reacted, like a damn tiger, and then I saw why he did it, what was the
reasoning for that?
Well, apparently he's got sensitive feet. And if you watch the weigh-in closely, he had socks on and Jake Paul had shoes on. So when Jake Paul came in to kind of like give him, I thought Jake...
Was Jake sitting?
That's what I didn't know when I first watched it, but I watched it another angle. I thought Jake was hiding under a speaker or something and then came up and tried to spook him, and that's why he slapped him. But I think he was just kind of like crawling towards him almost like some kind of gimmick. Mm-hmm. And then he rose up in front of him real quick. But as he rose up, with his left foot, he stepped on Mike's foot. And if you've ever had somebody step on your feet with shoes on and you don't have shoes on, that hurts.
No, it doesn't feel good.
It doesn't feel good. And you don't do that to Mike Tyson.
Do you think it's intentional, accidental? Do you think he's doing this to try to, throw off? Because you need your toes. You need that big toe for balance.
Yeah, no, I think, I mean, from what I could see, it was not intentional, and it was a legit slap, and it was totally caught Jake by surprise. He took it. Yeah. And he kind of took it and kind of like shook it off a little bit. And after he realized he was okay, he started to play his games and taunt Mike a little bit. But I don't think it was planned. I think he's kind of got a little closer than he thought he was going to get, and stepped on Mike's foot, man. You don't step on Iron Mike's foot.
Do you have that video you were talking about of the where they stepped on the toe?
Yeah.
You send it to me real quick. I'll try to pull it.
Yeah.
I don't know if you saw the earlier I guess the meeting that they had with one of the interviewers, and because Tyson's big into his pigeons and animals, and so Jake had got him a pigeon, and Tyson, because sometimes you give Tyson a gift and he's like he shows that appreciation and that humbleness, but then it's like Tyson, he's like I'm gonna feed this to my fucking hawk.
I saw that. I saw that. Yeah. He didn't accept the pigeon.
No.
But did you see him take it out and kind of hold it and handle it?
Yeah.
Like you could tell he knew how to handle it. But at the same time, then he was like, I'm going to feed it to
my hawk.
Feed it to my falcon. And I was like, holy crap, man. Like, and then he didn't take it. So, that was something. That was a Iron Mike coming out again.
All right. I got that clip. Let's see. It should play. Hold on one sec.
Got it?
Yeah. Let's do it. Here.
Get it?
I had the worst feet in the world, right? And if somebody stepped on my feet, I would totally tap out. I would just give up. And I have the worst feet.
I see the crawling part you're talking about now.
And I have the worst feet in the world, right? And if somebody stepped on my feet, I would totally tap out. I would just give up.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. You saw him step right on the tip of those toes, man. And that hurts.
Yeah. Yeah, so like from my angle, I thought Jake was sitting in a chair, and like maybe that was like I didn't know the whole toe factors. I thought maybe it was like disrespectful for Jake to be sitting and then stand up, or maybe Jake like blew a kiss to him, or who knows what Jake will do. Tyson didn't have a hat on to grab. Remember when he grabbed what's his name, Floyd Mayweather's hat, the whole
Oh,
gotcha hat thing. And
yeah, gotcha.
so I didn't know if he pulled one of those stunts, but yeah. Definitely.
And I have the worst feet in the world, right? And if somebody step on my feet, I would totally tap out. I would just give up.
Yeah, that has to, because it's also the corner of the shoe too, so it's like right there off
Right
that
on the
big
tip.
toe.
Yeah.
Yeah, man, that's a
no.
no. That's
Mike's in his Speedo. He's not playing around, man.
no Versace Speedo.
Oh man. So when I saw that come out and I saw the slap and I saw how it all played out and they tried to interview Mike and they were like, Mike, why'd you do that? He was like, there's no more talking,
Yeah.
And I was like, all right. Mike's ready to rock and roll.
Hell yeah. How do you think this fight goes down? How do you think this breaks? Do you think,
man.
what would be your game plan if you were in Tyson's corner? Obviously you want to get Jake and just get that, because there was a point in one of the fights with Jake, and I'm horrible with the names, but there was this end combo out of the first round, and I just feel like if Tyson could get a hold of him and kind of stun Jake to where he doesn't know what to do to react, it might be game over. I mean,
yeah, no, so Tyson could play this a couple ways, but I think one way that I would suggest is come out and kind of try to sting Jake right away and maybe win the first 4 rounds, and then after that, if you win the first 4 rounds, then, whether you knock him out or not, depending on what Mike's got in the gas tank, I would say try to get him out of there, and try to really sting Jake and hurt him within the first 4 rounds. That would be my suggestion. The big question is, what does he have in the gas tank there in rounds, 6, 7, 8? Because I think that's the biggest question everybody's got. They interviewed Roy Jones Jr. after the slap too, and Roy Jones, that was Mike's last opponent, even though it was an exhibition. I thought Mike won, which that's saying a lot. Roy was the man back in the day, and still, but they said, what do you think about Jake getting in his head and making him emotional? He's like, nah. He's like, that's how Mike fights.
Yep.
He's like, you make him emotional. You know what I mean? He thrives off of that. A lot of guys will get emotional and maybe go and fight another way that is not really them, or do something that will get him in trouble. He's like, nah. He's like, Mike, this is Mike. This is what makes Mike. And that's what Mike brought him to the legendary status that he is. And so he said the one big question is, what does Mike have in the gas tank? And I think that is what the big question is for all Everybody. Of us. But he did agree, and I agree that Mike can stun you with one of those big shots, man. And if he can start working Jake and hurt Jake, I think Jake is going to feel something that he hasn't felt before.
That was my next question. Out of all Jake's opponents, who do you think has the strongest power for just a solid punch? Yeah. I mean, I think this is his heaviest fighter, or his heaviest weight class he's been fighting in. So yeah, I'm interested to see. Yeah, I mean, even his one loss against Tommy Fury he kind of just got outpointed. He wasn't really a power puncher like Mike. Come in to take his head off. He just really just got outpointed, and that's why I thought he lost. But I think he's facing something different in Mike. My big question is going to two questions for Mike is going to be, what is in his gas tank and how can he absorb a punch? Because Jake has a hard right hand, man. And if he bounces one of those off of Mike's head, we're going to have to see how Mike can absorb that and continue fighting, or if it affects him moving on. So, that's the big question too, guys. And you guys can chime in on the comments. Is how is Mike? What do you guys think? Is Mike too old to be playing these games inside the ring and still boxing, or is he good to go? Because to me, he looked good on the scale. When I looked at Mike and saw his body and just his physique, I was like, dang, Mike looks pretty darn good. He doesn't look like he's got a belly or like nothing like that. He looks good as I hope anybody I'm sure would want to look at 58 years old, shredded, strong arms, like ready to go, grabbing his crotch, telling the audience, hey, I'm here, baby. This is Iron Mike. And so, yeah, it was something. But let us know, audience, what do you think? And then another question for our audience, I think, is
and you let me know what you think, John. Is this a lose-lose situation for Jake Paul?
I think it is.
You know,
he gets knocked out by Mike Tyson. It would be his first knockout as a fighter,
right?
Which, that would kind of ruin this whole kind of, wave that he's riding. But then if he knocks out Mike Tyson, you knocked out a legend, and it hurts for the boxing community.
Yeah, I think that's the bigger part too.
Yeah,
we all don't want to see that, and I think for Mike to go face down, it just, man, it would hurt the boxing. It would hurt our feelings, being Mike Tyson fans.
And I think even more than the feelings, I think it would hurt Mike. From not only from fuck this happened to, I'm almost knocking at 40, and I know that things I do, I don't recover nearly as fast as I did in my 20s. And in my early 30s, and then from my 30s to my 20s. So, I can only imagine it probably doesn't get better. I'm sure there's a whole bunch of nutritionists and medicines that he's been able to be on and just being in shape all of his life. But yeah, it's, there's that fear too.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's been boxing for 4 decades, and
that's insane to think about as well.
Yeah. Yeah. For 3 of those decades, Jake Paul wasn't even born.
Yeah. This is that game you do when you see an older guy dating someone in her 30s, and you're like, oh, she was in kindergarten when you were graduating college. Like this is what this feels like right now.
Yeah. Oh no, it wasn't 3 decades. He wasn't born, but he's 3 decades older than Jake Paul. But at least a couple of those decades, Jake Paul wasn't even around and stuff. So he was still on what is it, the Disney Channel?
Yeah, Disney. It's interesting. These 2 brothers. The one has been able to fight Floyd Mayweather. Now Jake's being able to fight Tyson. I mean, they're being able to fight these legends that, maybe it's all they're trying to please their parents and impress their mommy and daddy. But yeah. I mean that's what I would want to do if I had that talent.
Yeah. Well, I think I think on the other side of the coin, we have to give it up for Jake Paul and his brother for, like you say, taking those steps to not only elevate themselves, but I think they've really elevated boxing. Really, like boxing was not dying, but it needed a facelift. Mm-hmm. And these new young bloods came in and they did it. Turki Al-Sheikh in Saudi Arabia, he's doing some great things over there with Riyadh season and doing some great things with boxing. I think Jake on his side of the spectrum is doing great things with boxing. And I think boxing is making a big jump upwards, and really making a comeback. Here at the Salisbury Center, we have Champions League boxing, and that has become really popular too. And it's an awesome thing for amateur boxers in our community, USA Boxing. And so, I know Jake is involved with USA Boxing. He's one of their big ambassadors as well. And so, I want to see the sport of boxing grow. Yeah. We can't get held back by the legends of the game that used to be this and that, right? If Mike wants to put himself out there at 58, he's going to have to face the consequences if something does happen because, but he's getting a big payday. And he can hold his own, if not knock Jake Paul out. So I don't think it's anything. I don't think anybody will be surprised if he hurts Jake Paul. It's a I think some people are saying, "Oh, Jake this, Jake that," and I did a poll online. I did a poll on our Champions League boxing Instagram. I did a poll of if you had your money on somebody, who would you take? And it was pretty not even, but a lot of people went with Mike, but a good amount of people went with Jake. And then on the next slide, I said, okay, who do you really want to win? And that one was a lot more, one-sided. Yep. And most everybody wanted Mike. Sure. And there was like 2 or 3 people that wanted Jake, sure. So I think everybody's heart's in it with Mike. Yeah. But if you had $1 million and you had to put it on somebody, who would you put it on?
I mean, if my $1 million, fuck. Yeah, so I'm probably the same. Like I'm right down the middle, but then I would love to see Mike do it. I mean, I don't know, man. I do not know.
Would you take the underdog in Iron Mike Tyson?
I think I'd probably put it on Jake.
Right?
Yeah.
No? Yeah. So it's tough, man. It's really a tough one for so many reasons, but hey, this is the entertainment business at the end of the day. And I think Jake understands that. Dana White understands that. And, so they're doing their thing.
You were talking about it a couple seconds ago, and it reminded me of one of the interviews we did this week for Cagezilla 82 coming up next month. Where I forget, you'll remember which fighter it was, but he was like, when you sign that contract, you're signing that contract to make it so I'm not able to spend time with my grandchildren. Like you're right. Signing a contract to hurt me,
right?
And it's I just
That's true. Yeah, no, it was a quote that was very, very pertinent in the sense of when you do sign that contract, you're trying to make sure I can't speak to my grandchildren the same way.
Yeah.
And that's true, man. We're punching each other in the head, whether you're boxing, MMA, anything. So you got to take it serious to a certain extent. You got to take it 100% serious. And you got to always, I know people say, oh, this is rigged and this and that. I don't think you can rig fight sports. Definitely not MMA, but boxing. I think, like you say, when you're taking those punches to the head, it's real deal. That's what they say. You don't play boxing.
Yeah.
You play basketball, you play lacrosse, you play tennis. You don't play boxing.
Nope.
So, man, I'm really looking forward to this one coming up this weekend. Mike Tyson has beat Larry. He's fought Larry Holmes, Michael Spinks, Razor Ruddock, Evander Holyfield, Lennox Lewis. Man, I mean, he's bitten people's ears off. This guy is a guy you do not play with.
Bitten ears off and made the Evander Holyfield ear bite chew like as a Father's marijuana company as a gummy. It's
I kind of saw something.
I have them.
That.
I'll bring one.
You have something?
Yeah, I have some. Yeah, little bitten off pieces.
Do they look like pieces of ear?
1,000%. It looks like a little piece of ear. It was like him and I guess Holyfield, I guess, did a collab for that.
Oh my God. Oh, they did a collab.
Yeah. So it says Tyson and then X Holyfield.
I know.
And it's called Mike's Bites. Yeah.
He had to put Holyfield in there, man. He couldn't take all the credit for that.
No.
That's Holyfield's ear.
Yeah, it's his ear.
Yeah, man. No, I did hear about that. That's pretty darn funny. But
cool.
Yeah, man, no, I'm looking forward to the fight. I hope everyone is going to be tuning in. I think a lot more people than normal are going to be tuning in because a lot of people have Netflix already.
Sure.
So they're like, shoot, we don't have to order this. We don't have to pay for this. We're just going to tune in. So let us know what you guys think here in the comments. And we're really looking forward to this one. And there's a big combat sports weekend coming up. So let us know. Like I say, we're here on the Wylde Style Network. Brent Hess, Mr. John Caniford here joining us here in the production studio. And we'll see you guys all very soon, okay? Thanks for